Welcome back to the Rondo, presented by Carl's Jr. As the World Cup approaches, our comment sections are unsurprisingly full of very hot takes. Today, each of us is going to present one of our own hot takes and see if the other guys can prove us wrong. Later on in the episode, we're also going to be taking a look at some bold decisions that teams and managers will have to make during the World Cup. You guys ready? Let's get it. All right, so we each got a hot take here, and I got a little preview of them, and I like them. Tom, I'm going to have you go first. Tell us your World Cup hot take.
Cristiano Ronaldo undoubtedly makes Portugal worse.
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly.
We're clear. We're talking about the guy who is nearing 1,000 career goals.
Doesn't matter. Keep going.
The greatest Portuguese player of all time.
Congratulations. There are other countries.
Arguably the second greatest player ever from any country.
Okay, congratulations. There's the first best player who's still better at football.
What does it? Okay, so but you're after all this stuff, you still think that he makes Portugal worse when he's on the field.
Absolutely.
Tell us why.
Yeah, give us a reason
Because
for this.
football is a game of systems, not individuals, especially now. You need to be able to attack with 10. Well, let's include the keeper. You attack with 11, you defend with 11. You cannot have liabilities at all. Cristiano Ronaldo was going to score 5 against Congo, 5 against Uzbekistan, something fucking ridiculous. But in games when Portugal actually have to defend, run, and be organised, there is no way that having him on the pitch is any sort of benefit.
I'm not going to lie. I saw a video of CR7 pressing the other day, and oh my God, my boy looked like he was in pain.
Exactly.
It looked like,
Can't run.
he was, but to be fair, the effort was there. Like, a 41-year-old giving more effort than Mbappe on defense, you gotta love that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I will say this. I think Portugal, they don't necessarily need Ronaldo to be a star. Like, we know his stats, we need his accolades. They need him to be a good leader. And like, as a good leader, whether you're starting or not, you're still able to have an influence on your side. Like, we saw how influential Ronaldo was in that Euro 2016 final when they subbed him off due to injury, and like he was still doing his thing on the side. I mean, it had such an impact on them. He made Joao Moutinho take a penalty for them to score and win. So, like, in my opinion, they need Ronaldo to be a leader more than to be a star.
So what Ronaldo was doing there was entirely for the cameras. He was standing in front of his coach and directing the team, getting, like, you know, taking the guy who's supposed to be in charge out of the way. He was just like, he's just doing this. What did he actually do?
Nah, but
what
he did.
He actually
What
do?
did he actually
do?
He willed the Adair goal to go right in.
He didn't.
Nah, but Corbin,
that's not what I'm having.
He talked to Joao Moutinho, told him to take a penalty kick, and he scored it. Like, that's leadership. That's what I'm talking about. You don't need to be a star to be a leader.
So I have the same exact thought. Bruno Fernandes, probably the best player on this roster, for being honest with ourselves.
By some distance.
Bruno was.
But also Vitinha.
Vitinha's great. It's a great team.
Nah,
Joao
Bruno
Neves?
is Bruno.
This Portugal team is great, top to bottom. Bruno was 14 years old when Cristiano won his first Ballon d'Or. If you don't think that he grew up idolizing this guy, he is going to show up, and this is what I think, yeah, you could argue that the 2016 Euro final thing was performative.
It was.
But Ronaldo is that guy that the rest of this squad is going to rally around because they grew up idolizing him, and now they play with him.
Okay, if Cristiano looks great or farming on the bench, then they can enjoy it.
I also disagree.
Like, hey, there's the guy.
I also disagree with the fact that he's not impactful when he's on the pitch. He was their leading scorer in World Cup qualifying.
Okay, who they're playing in World Cup qualifying?
It's the same type of teams they're going to play in the World Cup,
No,
man.
but okay.
See, here's the thing. You always move the goalposts.
Okay,
you always move the goalposts.
World Cup group games, you just have to get through them. That is absolutely true, right? You just have to get through them, and he is probably going to score a bunch in World Cup group games that do not, like, okay, they matter. They matter, but like in a knockout game, are you really going to trust Ronaldo to like not be a liability there?
To be fair, Ronaldo's track record in the knockout rounds of World Cups isn't that great.
It's horrific.
I think he has like what? Single-digit goal, like maybe like a couple, like 1 or 2.
The most damning indictment is that when he was, 37 years old? Portugal benched him for Goncalo Ramos, who was hardly playing for, I believe, PSG at the time. Ramos drops a hat-trick, they beat Switzerland. They put 6 past them. So, like, that's your star player who has to watch from the bench. And then Ronaldo throws a f***ing temper tantrum, does an interview with Piers Morgan, which, by the way, is very tough to defend, and then f***ed off out of Man United. In what way does he make this Portugal team better other than by throwing a f***ing temper tantrum? He got sent off in the last game of what, before the World Cup, and then FIFA felt bad, so they decided not to suspend him for the World Cup.
Thank you, FIFA.
If you're Roberto Martinez, you still calling up Ronaldo?
Of course, because he has to.
Okay, but let me ask you guys something about this. Just his being there, does it affect the squad if he has a bad attitude?
So that's
why
the
would
thing.
you bring him as a manager?
Well, that's why it's interesting, right? Because what Cristiano should be, he absolutely should be the dream 70th minute super sub. That is the dream. It's 0-0 or whatever. We got to take a risk. We need a guy who can put a ball in net. Perfect. But if he's on the bench, then his ego becomes a problem. Portugal maybe don't have the best game, or like, even if they win 2-1, but it's not all that convincing, then all of the media's like, why don't you start Ronaldo? And he's looking grumpy on the bench. You think he's really going to be fine with it? The only reason...
No, that's why you got to play him, bro.
No, okay. Oh, yeah, because that's conducive to winning World Cups, right?
He's their leading scorer in qualification. He absolutely still makes an impact positively on this team.
I'm not sure he does.
The second leading scorer was Bruno, who had 3 goals. Ronaldo had 5. So there's a little bit of a gap there in terms of...
We're talking massive scoring numbers here.
Well, if we were going on percentages, it's almost double.
It is.
What do you want? No, listen. Everyone's gonna
You're talking
always
about
move
moving the goalpost.
Everyone's gonna always move the goalpost. Say, oh, Ronaldo doesn't make him better. Okay, well, he was their leading scorer. Well, actually, those games don't matter. It's like, okay, well, he'll show up in the group stage. Well, actually, he's not gonna show up in this hypothetical knockout game later. Like, the idea that he doesn't make them better, I think, is dumb. I think if you look at the stats, if you look at the leadership, you can have an opinion on the way that he presents himself or the ego or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're not in the locker room. We don't know the team. We don't know him as a person. And I think that other players will show up for him, like I mentioned, because this is the guy that they grew up being like, holy shit, this is who I want to be like. And now they're teammates with him. My personal thoughts on the Messi-Ronaldo debate aside, this is something that you see with Argentina. Messi-Ronaldo. My personal thoughts on that debate aside, that type of thing is something that you see with Argentina, because both of these guys, Messi and Ronaldo, are at the age now where their younger teammates were like 10 when they were in their prime. So these guys grew up like, all I want to do one day is to be like them. I don't think that you could underestimate the impact that has on a team when you look up at the guy who's lining up in front of you, and it's that dude that you grew up idolizing.
So I get what you mean in the Messi and the connection that maybe the lads had, but if what you're doing is you're not quite comparing the two squads equally. What Argentina did with Messi is that they put a bunch of runners around him, full of legs, full of emotion, like the way that Argentina, that was emotional football. Portugal don't have that same ilk of footballer. They're not 5'10", 6 foot, and will break your legs. They're all little and tiny and fun. And you're not asking Vitinha to do the Rodrigo de Paul thing, right? When Van Dijk clattered Messi, Rodrigo de Paul ran up to him and looked like he wanted to punch him in the mouth. If Van Dijk clatters Ronaldo at the next World Cup, Vitinha's going, you don't fancy that. He's like 3 times his size. It's not the same thing.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be the exact same in the way that they execute it, but it absolutely is similar in terms of the impact that he makes on the team, I think, mentally.
I don't know, bro. The aura, the whatever can only get you so far. There's maybe a bit of belief, but I think once the rubber hits the road and it comes down to quality football, Portugal get exposed when he's in the team, and that's that.
Do you think this Portugal squad, though, is good enough now? Like, they're towards a point where, regardless if Ronaldo's putting in that defensive work rate, they're still going to be a great squad because they do have world-class players at the end of the day.
So I think that's the point, but the point is that at what point does Ronaldo hold them back? You think about that Nations League final, which they won, right? Why'd they win that game?
Because he came off the bench. That's why. They did good.
He didn't start.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Tom. Like, in all honesty, I don't think Ronaldo needs to start for Portugal for them to be competitive. I saw them wax the U.S. No competition. Ronaldo wasn't even near a squad. Injured. Still, it was such an easy game for them. You know, you have Bruno Fernandes. You have these other guys that want to come in and want to, make a mark on the squad. My biggest concern, though, for this Portugal squad is that I don't think there's anyone that still has taken the reins from Ronaldo. Like, you look at a guy like Rafael Leao. You'd expect him to be way further along than what he is now. So then it's up to the guys on Portugal to be like, man, I'm not better than a 41-year-old Ronaldo. I'm still not producing. Like, that's a personal issue. Like, that's something that you're not taking advantage of your opportunity. If there's still no strikers that are better than Ronaldo at this age, Gonzalo Ramos, I have not seen him play for PSG the last 2 seasons. No factor in the Champions League and the League One. So if you're giving the coach saying, hey, man, listen, I want to give the youth a chance, but you're not taking your opportunity, Ronaldo's still going to eat regardless.
No, I mean, it's interesting. We'll see what happens, but I think that, you make some good points on it.
I will call it now, okay? if Ronaldo is on the bench, Portugal could comfortably win this World Cup. If he starts every game, they don't get past the quarterfinals.
What's funny about this is that
Clip
this is
it.
supposed to be the prove me wrong debate, and Raheem, you're like, yeah, Tom, you're probably right. Raheem, you're up next. What's your World Cup hot take?
My prove me wrong hot take is the World Cup is better being hosted in the U.S. than in European countries for this 2026 World Cup. And my reasoning for this is you see it in Europe. The game's already established. People are already fans of the beautiful game there. We understand the culture is being built and developed, and it's been stayed in Europe. But for example, like a religion, like Christianity, what did Europe do? They wanted it to spread, right? If you want to spread your game, you got to come to the U.S., bro. And the U.S. has a football culture that hasn't been fully developed yet. It's a place where you could come. It's a brand new atmosphere that a lot of people haven't seen since 1994. And the game has developed here so much to the point where people who are coming here are going to see a side of the game that they've never seen before. They're going to see Americans who are passionate about football, understand it, want to see the game grow. Even look at us as American, connoisseurs of the game. A lot of people sleep on what we know about football because they never came to America. They never had a conversation with an American about our knowledge on the beautiful game. For all these beautiful cultures to come to the United States and to see the growth of the game here, it has a bigger impact than if we already went to a country where the game is already established.
Well, you're really appealing to the football romantic here to me, with all the stuff about beautiful this, beautiful that. But tell me one thing that's been good about the planning for this World Cup. What's the one piece of positive news when you look at America for the World Cup and go, damn, they're ready for this? Outside of the fans, outside of your, violins, patriotic music plays, like, how is America as a country dealing with hosting this World Cup?
I mean, at the end of the day, listen, every World Cup, though, has had its past political issues. We've seen that in a lot of World Cups. We talked about this before. And listen, we've always talked about it. Pre-World Cup, there's always like this, oh, the Qatar World Cup wasn't going to be good because of, the things that were going on with, unfortunately, with the way the stadiums were built. There's always been controversy on how World Cups are at the beginning. But what happens as soon as that ball is kicked on that first minute of that first game?
So no one cares at the end of the day because it's about the football. But, the issue is that World Cups are events. They're about the people outside of the stadiums and in the stadiums as much as they are the 22-plus players on the pitch.
Absolutely.
America hasn't proved at all that it is capable of hosting a World Cup, man.
In 94.
You're looking, in the modern era. In the modern era.
We're doing it right now.
Today.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it, though. It's coming here.
We've got expensive public transport, hotels that no one can afford, a government that is not letting fans from certain countries come and watch their team. What's good about any of this?
Let's be honest. There's been visa issues for many countries to go to many different nations anyway. Not every country.
$1,500 down payment for a visa,
I understand that. But we look at events like F1, for example. That's an expensive event. And just because you don't go to the World Cup games doesn't mean you can't enjoy the World Cup.
Yeah, but who's going to F1? Which average fan in Haiti is like, you know what, I'd love to go to...
Bro, I'm sorry, but Haitians aren't going anywhere. Nobody could even get into Haiti, my boy. They're not going anywhere even if there wasn't a World Cup, bro. I'm just being real here. If you're trying to have a World Cup in a place where you could genuinely change the culture and be a culture-shifting moment to the point where everybody will remember and you could be like, oh, this was the moment that I fell in love with football. And you could go to an American and be like, look, in 2026, I went to a watch party with Tom Hindle. I went to a watch party with Corbin Mills, and I genuinely fell in love with football. If you're a European or South American who's already a fan of football and you have the World Cups coming to you, it kind of feels like a surplus of what you already have. You have the Champions League, you have league games, you have the best football in the world, you have the best players in the world accessible to you all the time. What is a World Cup to you?
I'm not having that. I think you underestimate how much the rest of the world loves the World Cup. And I don't think that soccer has this duty to spread the gospel and basically culturally colonize like people think it should. It does not have that duty. FIFA shouldn't take that upon themselves. The World Cup should be in other, it's good that it happens in different federations at different times. That is fair, that is just, that is allowed. But what you shouldn't do is take it to a country that is unequivocally not ready to do so.
How is America not ready to host a World Cup?
Because you can't travel anywhere. It's too big.
It's an American World Cup.
Public transport is too expensive. You can't get a fucking hotel.
Yeah.
It is just not ready.
Is that stopping anybody from not going, though?
What?
Is that stopping from anyone from not really going?
Well, yeah, because I can't get into the stadium because the tickets are $2,000.
But they're still sold out.
No, they're not. Stadiums aren't. Mate, there are 30% of the tickets are still available for the U.S. against Paraguay in the opening game.
Fam, who in any country is going to a U.S. versus Paraguay game? Let's be real, bro.
Okay,
like,
then,
me,
then,
bro,
then flip it, bro. If it's Spain, the host. So say Spain are hosting, right? Spain could be playing. Who can I pick on? New Zealand, and there'll be hundreds of thousands of fans.
Oh, absolutely.
So the US, which is hosting the World Cup, cannot even sell out its first game.
But we're still a little bit a month away from it. It still could be sold out.
Bro, okay, look.
Like, you're not giving it a chance. The game hasn't happened yet. It still could be sold out.
I also think, Tom,
if the day before you can get a ticket to that game for a $5, I will shut my mouth and probably actually go. I just don't think, like, there should be more hype, bro. It should be, I don't know, there shouldn't be questions. Let's put it that way. There shouldn't be questions about logistics. There shouldn't be, like, angst and fear and a new athletic report, plug, other publication every 5 hours about what's going wrong. Like, this, it shouldn't be that. It should be about football, but for the wrong reasons, we're talking about other shit. Corbin, please say something as well.
Well, so my problem with the format of the podcast is that I really just want to rip into Tom because I don't really agree with him. But just for the format, Raheem, I'm going to have to disagree with you. And I think that my main issue about the U.S. hosting is that so many of our cities are boring. And they are boring to visit, and they are going to be boring for fans. And you were going to have people from, like, Ivory Coast or whatever. I don't think they're playing there, but, like, rocking up to, like, Kansas City and being like, hello, gorgeous, I'm here. I can't wait to see the sights. I hope you like highways, brother, because there is not much else going on in a lot of these places. Now, that goes along with me saying there are some fantastic host cities. If you are a fan and you're visiting New York or you're visiting Philly or Seattle or San Francisco, you're going to have an awesome, awesome time.
New York isn't really a host city, though, is it?
Yeah, it is. What, where are you going to stay? In the Meadowlands? There's like 2 hotels over there.
Right,
Obviously,
so
everyone...
you're gonna pay for a New York hotel.
Well, where else are you going to go? Look, I think that we have some really great host cities that are going to be a really great time, but I think for a lot of them, it's going to be kind of boring for people who visit. Unfortunately, I do also have to agree with Tom in this one, where the U.S. is probably not the best place, depending on the city and the region, to have a large influx of people going to an event because it's so car-centric. People are going to need rental cars. They're going to need Ubers, and the Ubers are going to cause traffic and cost $250 when you throw in the surge pricing and all this stuff. So I think that infrastructure-wise, it depends geographically on where you're talking about, but we have like a built environment in the U.S. that other countries in Europe and Asia don't have. I feel bad for fans whose group stage games are traveling and spending all this money to come to the U.S. and then they go to Dallas, bro.
Is Dallas really that bad compared to going to the hoods of Joburg to watch a soccer game and then you go out the stadium potentially get shot or killed?
No, probably not.
Probably not. You guys are telling me all these things about this has nothing to do with football, stadiums and all this that you guys are saying, but like genuinely when it comes to the football and the sport, what has really stopped anyone from going to a match?
So
yeah, it's good. It's a good point. It's a good point.
The one thing I will give you, I get that in particular for you two, and I mean by extension for me because I've lived here long enough, that there is something lovely about living in this country and maybe feeling like a little bit vindicated now, right? Like I have rated this sport my whole life. You lot have been watching college football. This better, and now I get to show off about it, right? I'm not sure this is the place best equipped to prove that we were right.
We'll see. I guess time will tell.
Today's episode is brought to you by Carl's Jr., home of big, bold flavors that don't hold back. Charbroiled burgers, crave-worthy sides, and food that actually shows up when you're hungry enough to stop pretending like you're just gonna snack. Whether you're grabbing a late-night bite or fueling up during the day, they have something that hits every single time. If you're tired of the same sad, bland burgers that high-key taste like disappointment, Carl's Jr. is the move. Okay, guys. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Tom, he's one of your favorite players of all time.
Sure.
There's been a lot of conversation about him potentially being in doubt for the England starting lineup or squad, depending on who you ask. Should England bring Trent Alexander-Arnold to the World Cup?
No.
You actually believe that, or are you just mad at him because he left Liverpool?
Well, I'm still mad at him, and I'm going to be mad at him from now until the end of time. But no, there's no point. He doesn't fit in this system. England have already tried pissing about with him at centre mid. Didn't work. He doesn't work as a right back for Thomas Tuchel. Why is he here? You're gonna tell me like, oh, he's good at free kicks and he's got good passing range. All right, like okay, great. He is a wonderful footballer. He is supremely gifted, but he doesn't fit in the system. And I'm sorry, but when it comes to World Cups, you trim the fat, you cut the bollocks, and you try and win.
You don't think he makes it into the squad?
What's the point? Do you know what? And this is gonna go down well. I'd take Jordan Henderson instead of Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Okay, that's crazy.
because if you're
No.
looking for quote unquote end of the bench guys, you want a leader who will shout at everyone, who will bring the vibes around the camp, who will that's why Connor Cody was in like England teams, right? Like with Trent, what have you got? Like a 27-year-old with a good right foot? Like what does he do other than keep Jude happy? You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't fit him.
I'm kind of indifferent. In my opinion, it's like if you
I'm sorry, that's
Raheem's like, England annoy me, so I don't really care.
no, like for England, I don't think it really matters. Like if I say this, if you have a fit Reece James and Tino Livramento, you don't even really need Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Boom.
And also, Steve McManaman also played for Real Madrid, a Galactico, won a Champions League. Couldn't get that many caps for England. So it's not like something that we haven't seen before. We've seen fantastic players who have left Liverpool, went to Real Madrid, and couldn't start for the national team. It's happening again with Trent, unfortunately. I think he's a wonderful player, don't get me wrong. But in modern football, with these left wingers as fast as they can be, and Trent, you already know going back, he's going to have his issues. Going forward, one of the best right backs in the world. But if you're in a World Cup, you need that right-hand side solidified because you're going to have Bukayo Saka going up. So you need somebody who's going to have that cover. And at the end of the day, Thomas Tuchel trusts Tino and he trusts Reece James. But if Reece James is not fit, then it's a different conversation because that does open up an opportunity for Trent.
Yeah, and part of me does feel a little bit bad for Trent. Actually, that's a lie. Part of me is a little sympathetic for the whole situation, let's put it that way, because Trent just hasn't been fit in the windows when Tuchel might otherwise give him a look. But he's made it clear that, like, nah, man, he's not part of the team. And the Real Madrid bias thing is really interesting because we've reached the point where people are like, Morgan Rogers should start over Jude Bellingham. Grow up.
Nah, that's not real.
Like, grow up, right? Like I get, but whatever. So playing in Madrid probably does hurt your chances of making the England squad. So let's be honest, Trent hasn't done himself any favours either.
Will England disappoint overall?
Almost certainly, it's what we do.
No, I think this England side goes
Almost
semifinals minimum. But
Yeah, and loses and
semifinals minimum. And listen, if it goes to penalty kicks, Lord help them.
You know what? I was talking, and I won't name him, but I was talking to a guy who you'd related to a certain England legend. You can probably figure that out, you two. And I was interviewing him for a piece, and the first thing he said is, "It's coming home," which means it certainly won't come home.
yeah, but most certainly not.
Most certainly will not come
If
home.
there was ever any doubt, it's not happening.
Most talented they've ever been. Hire a world-class manager specifically to win at a tournament. Vibes seem to be relatively good. Reeks of quarterfinal exit.
Yep, it's going to be a penalty loss to Ecuador.
Not Ecuador again.
Ecuador.
Not the Ecuador.
Everybody, Ecuador's not that good. They haven't lost a game in 2 years. What are we
score
talking?
goals.
They
They
can't
haven't
score
lost a
goals.
game in 2 years.
Yeah, okay, congratulations. 0-0.
They haven't lost a game in 2 years. How many times? They haven't lost a game in 2 years. Oh, well, they don't. They haven't lost a game in 2 years. All right, my take's last. World Cup is better with the expanded pool of 48 teams.
No.
No.
Let me explain why I think this. The World Cup is all about excitement, and it's all about bringing the world together for this tournament. For me, it is the more the merrier situation. Bringing more teams into the competition gives you more storylines, gives you more potential stars, gives you more potential underdogs, dark horses, and just brings the vibe up. It's awesome that Cape Verde and Curacao are there because they probably wouldn't have been before. And I don't think that anyone is saying that because there are more teams, the like prestige of winning a World Cup or going far in the World Cup is diminished. So if there's no downside, but there's a lot of upside, to me that's fantastic.
Okay, so there are 3 reasons why you're wrong.
Okay, here we go.
One of a handful of teams is going to win the World Cup anyway. You are going to get, by the time you get to the last 16, you might get 1 or 2 fairy tales, but otherwise, same thing.
Why does
so
that?
There's that. So there's that. Number 2, qualifying for a World Cup should be an achievement. It should be hard to get there. It really should. With more teams, it takes away the achievement for your middle-of-the-pack teams. Love Curacao. Went there. Great food. ish. Actually, I don't like fish very much. But like, it should be difficult to get there. The third thing, player welfare, man. Everyone's already playing too many games. Why are you going to throw extra ones in there?
Well,
why are you gonna do that? And so if your thing is 48 teams, open the floodgates, make it 64, stop pissing about with third place finishes, which, by the way, with 48, it removes the excitement and the jeopardy from the group phase entirely because you have so many third place teams going through.
Yeah, that is very true. And I think I think with this World Cup as well is that qualification, man. Like we remember in 2018 when the US didn't qualify.
It was great.
And how monumental of a moment that was, but also how much change came with that. Sure. Now with the World Cup, with this being 48 teams, it's like every team auto qualifies. Like,
bro, except Italy.
Yeah,
let's be clear.
Except Italy.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just getting an automatic bid. There's a lot of quality sides that are not at the World Cup because they aren't good enough.
Outside of Italy, name them.
Poland lost.
They're like they're fringe.
But this is what I'm saying. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Go to the World Cup and you got a shot, and that's what makes it really special.
I think the World Cup is all about seeing the best quality on the international level. And don't get me wrong, having countries like Curacao and all that, but it's also the reason why I didn't want Jamaica to qualify. I knew that team was so poor that they wouldn't be able to compete.
You didn't want them to qualify?
Because I knew at the end of the day, like, bro, it's going to kind of be embarrassing. Like, you're going to,
that's crazy.
Like, and the JFF, I'm a Jamaican. I know.
Clip that. Jamaicans, clip that.
They could clip this. But, like, bro, I knew that if we went to the World Cup, kicking the ball up, long balls against Portugal, against England, do you think that's really going to work? You're going to go out there and lose 5-6-0, and that's what's going to happen in this World Cup. Curacao, Haiti, some of these teams, no offense to them, but at the international quality, only 6 or 7 teams really are competing for a true World Cup.
So then why not just make the tournament 8 teams?
No. We understand that the competition still needs to be there, but I like the round of a group of 32 because it really felt like those were the 32 most quality sides. When you go to a club, right, and you get the best access, you get the best VIP, and it feels very exclusive. You love that, right? Then let's say, for example, they start just letting anybody in. Are you going to be still paying the same fee for that same membership and they letting everybody in the club?
Well, yeah, your section's you got 4 teams in a group. They're not changing that. So, yeah, if they're on the other side and I don't even interact with them, it's fine.
Okay, so 4 teams in a group, you're not changing that. But you get, a lot of third-place qualification. You can be bad in the group stage and make it to the round of 32. This thing should be cutthroat. This should be the best of the best playing at their best.
You're acting as if these teams...
Fairy tales are only fairy tales because they knock good teams out.
You're acting like the bad teams are all of a sudden going to be making the semifinals for funsies here.
No, they're not.
So then if you're a third-place team and you're not that good and you get through and get in your group, then you should be demolished in the round of 32 or whatever it is.
Which is exactly what you're going to see.
Yeah. So what are you complaining about?
So you're just giving good teams an absolute layup in a round of 32 in summer heat when everyone's already knackered. That's an unnecessary game.
I don't think that's unnecessary. I don't think that it's unnecessary at all. It's a World Cup. Everybody's always going to show up. Why not make the tournament 12 teams? If you want to get rid of unnecessary games and want to have everything be more competitive with teams that have a chance, why not make it 12 teams?
I just think it was good the way it was.
Why not make it 12 teams?
Well, that's what they've tried to do with the Super League.
Oh, hold on, you're changing. See, you can't answer my question because your logic doesn't make any sense.
No. There should be global representation. The best 12 teams in the world are mostly European, aren't they? Then that's not a World Cup.
You got the USMNT, you got Canada. The World Cup is fantastic. The same reason that people love the FA Cup, the same reason that people love March Madness in college basketball. It's the same reason that people love the Olympics. Is because in the Olympics, you get a random skier from like Trinidad, and you're like, how did you even learn how to ski if you're from the Caribbean? And then they go and they win a bronze medal or something, and it's so fantastic. Stop. The reason that everybody loves these sporting events is that everybody who shows up has the same chance as everybody else. Is it realistic that a Curacao is going to win a knockout game? No, but they play the same 90 minutes and the same field, and they have the same chance as everybody else. That is what makes sports so fantastic. So if you're going to be like, you didn't say this, but I know that you think it. I love the FA Cup because Man United can lose to whatever National League North team. It's the same exact principle here. They might not. The big countries might beat up on all the little ones they play. If they do, that's still okay because the little ones got a chance. And to me, that's what it's all about.
So how do you get into the FA Cup, Corbin?
Well, they have initial rounds of qualifying for the smaller.
You just said the word. you have to qualify.
Tom.
So in the FA Cup, you have to start in the first round, second round, third round. Third round's when the big teams get in, right? So wouldn't you say it's kind of like a World Cup in which you have to beat teams of your level to get into a more exclusive later round competition?
That is exactly
Does that sound familiar?
That is exactly what the World Cup is. Yeah.
Right. So, but that's what World Cup qualification is like. It is an achievement for some of those quote unquote small teams to be playing against, they say, Premier League team in the third or fourth round.
And another thing as well is that, like, we also got to remember, FIFA didn't include all these countries just to be like, oh, we want to give everybody a fair shot. They did it because of bread. Like,
Yeah, but who cares?
Yeah. What do you mean, who cares?
I don't care what the reasoning is behind it.
But
All right, you tell me. You go to those fans in Curacao, like,
You guys are actually only here because FIFA wanted more broadcast revenue.
and they're going to be like, you're right, I don't care anymore.
As a football journalist who likes writing about those teams, I'm going to love that. I'm talking to fans from Jordan this week. Why the fuck would I be doing that in any other situation?
You're so close. You're so close to getting it. You're so close to agreeing with me.
So that's cool.
You're so close to getting it.
But that 5% of feel-good stories does not make up for the 95% of bullshit otherwise.
So, all right, so cut everybody else out except for the top 12. This is, again, what I'm saying.
No.
It doesn't
So
matter
it's
if the
either-
same teams win. Give everybody a shot.
It's
And if
either
those teams win
32
again,
or 64.
well, we can do 64. I'd be fine with that.
Listen, whether it's 48, whether it's 32, the World Cup still has an amazing impact. But I just feel like you definitely lose that shininess when you add more teams.
Oh, my God. Oh, Raheem, that take hurts me. You're telling me that those guys, they win the World Cup, they lift the trophy, they're like, it's probably not as big of a deal because Qatar played here.
At the end of the day, what matters is the quality of play on the pitch. And I'm just saying, and I have to maybe agree with Tom on this, I think 32 teams just breeds a little bit more of that quality than having 48.
The World Cup should be 32 teams or it should be 64. Stop pissing around with this middling format.
All right, we'll do 64 next time.
Okay, great. And
Cool.
I'm sure FIFA will.
They will. Thank you, Gianni.
Thank you, Gianni. All right. Thanks for watching this episode of The Rondo, presented by Carl's Jr. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below whose hot take you think is the most accurate, and we'll see you in the next one.